Hello, welcome to Ampheto. In Gujarat, the Morbi suspension bridge accident, the number of casualties, which is above 100, has given a shocking news to the country, and it's being discussed nationwide in a very serious manner. We can evaluate, we can go through, investigate what are the reasons for this accident. Meanwhile, let's also understand the engineering aspects of a suspension bridge in a very layman language or common language. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a suspension bridge? What are the purposes of a suspension bridge? What are the safety aspects? What are the reasons for a failure? And all this we are trying to understand in today's AmphetTube session. Let's go through the details.
This is a disheartening visual of Morbi bridge collapse. Let's look at the video of how it has collapsed. We can see the crowd, and definitely it's a serious mistake of without fitness and proper investigation, proper fitness check, opening, giving access to the public is also a very serious mistake. Certainly the mode of failure should be studied. So Morbi is a place which is 70 kilometers from Rajkot, Gujarat, 500 kilometers from Vadodara. The bridge, the suspension bridge, was built in 1880, almost 143 years ago. The cost of construction at that time was 3.5 lakhs, and the purpose of the bridge was to bring an engineering marvel of that time to Morbi to give a tourist attraction. And this was connecting Darbargarh and Nazarbagh. This bridge, due to the aging, was closed for last 2 years. It was given for repair to a agency, and by October 26th, which is a Gujarat New Year, it was opened to public. The suspension bridge was across Machu River. In local Hindi, it is Jutka Pool. What are the failure reasons? It could be the overload, the stampede, behaving in a zigzag way, and very important, the improper rectification work during renovation. That could be a major reason. Two mistakes definitely would have happened. One is proper rectification would not have happened, and also there should be an assessment on how many persons can be loaded, what could be the maximum load permitted. That assessment didn't happen as per the latest informations. And generally, a heavy wind load or earthquake could be a possible failure reason, but here there was no such factors affected. In general, suspension bridges are mainly built when there is a material limitation, and also when the bridge has to be built in a faster manner. Suspension bridges protect human from animals, because the animals used to get scared of when they are entering the suspension bridge, because since it is start oscillating or waving. At the same time, human, since they know it's a suspension bridge, it's a feature of the bridge, they will somehow cross the bridge. So that's another purpose of suspension bridge, and that's an advantage of suspension bridge. It's possible to have longer spans in suspension bridges, less material utilization, which it can withstand earthquake to a great extent, and if at all a permanent or a regular concrete bridge collapses, this could be a alternative arrangement for serving the purpose of the bridge. A few disadvantages are, it has to withstand high aerodynamic wind load. In those areas, the aerodynamic stability is a major requirement. A heavy wind can really make it havoc. A relatively low duct stiffness for suspension bridge compared to the other types of bridges, which is making it more difficult to carry heavy rail traffic or heavy live loads. And another disadvantage is the initial construction phase. To lift the initial cables or to lift the deck units is a complex process. Across the globe, let's go through a few notable failure of suspension bridges. One failure in England, Broughton Suspension Bridge, was due to the march past of the military troop. When the march past happens, it's going in a rhythm. It has the same frequency. If that frequency matches with the natural frequency of the bridge, certainly it goes to a high amplitude resonance, which can cause a failure, ultimate failure of the structure. Another major havoc happened is in USA Silver Bridge collapse. That was due to a low redundancy design, and the inspection was not frequent. TACOMA Narrow Bridge, a famous bridge which was built in 1940, July 1st, but collapsed in the month of November itself in the same year. Lasted only for a few months. So the failure was due to the wind force. In England, the Yarmouth Suspension Bridge collapse cost 79 people death. So the Tacoma Bridge, which is in Washington, the reason was aeroelastic fluttering. This is the image of the bridge, and it was renovated in 2007. Now it can carry high pedestrian or high load. More than 10,000 people can travel here. And bridge failure reasons. The design factors of a bridge are: one is dead load, which is nothing but the self weight of the bridge. Live load is the moving objects. It can be pedestrian, vehicles. The factor is the dynamic load like earthquake or wind, tornado. So the general reasons for bridge failure could be the pedestrian overcrowd, the military marching, if it is matching the frequency with the natural frequency, it will go to resonance. The procession also could create a similar effect. The wind or tornado, the flood or earthquake. Then the live loads, vehicles, mechanical loading. If it's a wooden bridge, the fire can cause a failure or the damage. Or heavy vessels or ships or barge which is sailing across the stream, which can hit on the pillar or on the bridge, can cause the damage and collapse. The sand extraction from the pillar area of the bridge can affect the strength. The erosion or the scar of the pillar by water flow, which can create a gradual damage. The same way dilapidation or the age or fatigue, the continuous loading, the cyclic loading can also create a fatigue. So to understand how a suspension bridge structure is this illustration. In India, there are good number of suspension bridges in almost all states. This is the list of or the count of the suspension bridges. We can see Uttarakhand has got the maximum 286 suspension bridges. Across the globe, if we take the statistics, Turkey has got the longest span suspension bridge, Kanakkale suspension bridge, which is one of the engineering marvel and a beautiful structure, which is connecting Europe and Asia. The span is 2 kilometers, more than 2 kilometers. The Akashi Kaiko bridge in Japan is the second one. and other two are from China. Then the list goes. Union Chain Bridge in Scotland, UK, is the oldest and still in use bridges. Many age-old bridges have perished or not in use, but the Union Chain Bridge is still in use, which is of 137-meter long. The longest pedestrian suspension bridge we can see in Portugal. This is another suspension bridge which is from Kerala, Punalur, 120-meter long, built in 1877. This suspension bridge, the purpose was mainly to prevent animals' entry to the land. These are the other types of bridges. The conveyor bridges, the flume, footbridge, pipeline bridge, snowmobile bridge. We can see the pictures of snowmobile bridge which is built in the snow area. The vehicle bridges, land access bridges across a small water flow, creek, and covered bridges. Now, these are also being used for the landscaping purpose. So this is in a nutshell about the bridges, and especially the suspension bridge we could see in detail. And again, we'll meet up in next AMFED with a much more interesting subject. Till then, bye. Thank you.